I wanted to show you what I'm doing to start Thanksgiving. I've chopped up a big onion and a big stalk of celery, and I'm cooking it on the stove just to soften it up, and that's what's going to go into the stuffing that I'm going to put in the oven and then put a little bit in the bird. And then I've got the bird here in the sink. You make sure you buy a frozen turkey at least a week before Thanksgiving and put it in the fridge to thaw. Never thaw it on the counter. If it's still frozen, you can fill this up with cold water and set it in there for about 20 minutes and change out the cold water. And the directions are usually in the bird. Okay, now this is the stuffing. You can buy the bags pre-made. I melted a stick of butter. I'm going to add some sage and salt and pepper. And I'm going to take the onions and the celery and I'm going to mix them all together in a big bowl together. And then I'm going to put them in a baking dish and put foil on them. And these are going to go in the oven as a side dish, and I'm going to put some of it inside the bird when I get to that point. When mixing the stuffing, you can use the directions on the back. I've got 2 packages of stuffing with my celery and onion, and then you're going to use chicken broth. This says 2 cups of chicken broth per packet, so I'm going to put 4 cups of chicken broth in here, and there's about 4 cups in one of these, so that's about right. So you need one of these big ones to go in here, and then your seasoning, and that's about it for stuffing, at least for me. I tend to clean as I go just because my kitchen's small, so I've already washed the pan that I use to do the celery and the onion. I have a big pot of water ready to put my potatoes in. I'll scrub these potatoes. I'm going to use a big bag, probably add a little more. And I scrub them good, and then I cube them to a smaller size. That makes it easier to mash them. And then I'm going to show you next the turkey. You start with your sink being pretty clean. Of course, the turkey's encased in plastic. So I'm going to take the netting off, and I'll show you next step. The directions for the bird baking or cooking is pretty set. I've got a 20-pound bird, 4 to 5 days to thaw it in the refrigerator, 9 to 11 in cold water. Cook unstuffed 3.5 to 4, 4.5 to 5 hours if you put stuffing in it. I'm putting stuffing in it, so I'm going to be getting this ready. So it says allow at least 24 hours for every 4 pounds. And this is a 20-pound bird, so you'd want at least 5 days. And I've had more than 5 days. I'm going to use a roaster instead of the oven. I'm going to put it at about 325, so I'm going to have slow heat. Turkeys can be a little intimidating. When you cut the bag open, you're going to have all the juice run out, so that's why you want to make sure it's in a sink. See how the legs, they're twisted together. So you have to undo that, and then you have to take out the bag that's inside the bird. Here's the end of the turkey, and inside here's a bag, and that has the liver, the heart. I've already taken the neck out. And I'm sure it's in here. Yep, here it is. It's a bag, and it's got all those things in it, so you want to make sure you get it all out. And next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse the bird completely, get all that juice out, dry it, put it in the roaster, season it. I'm going to season it inside the bird with a lot of salt, outside with salt. Then I'm going to put a little bit of stuffing in, and then we'll start baking. Now I'm going to take the stuffing that I mixed. I have another container full with foil to bake later. And I'm going to take this stuffing and I'm going to put it inside the back and inside the cavity of the bird. And then I'm also making a small roast too that I'm going to put basically back here to roast together so we have enough. Like I said, I wash my pans as I go, and that way I don't have an abundance of it step by step, and that way your kitchen's not overwhelmed and so dirty. This is like a garbage bowl. I just throw stuff in instead of walking back and forth to the sink. So I'm going to take the neck and that, and I'm going to boil it for the dogs to put in their food. And then I've got the other breast I bought, plus the turkey stuffed. You don't want to overstuff the turkey. You want to be able to have that heat get in there and cook the stuffing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the legs up and kind of seal that up. And I'm going to take and put melted butter all over this, real good. Some people put butter under the skin. I mean, you can do that too. Things that fall down in the pan is fine. Like a lot of the stuffing fell down in the pan. When I go to make the gravy at the end, it'll all mix in. It'll taste really good. Okay, next I'm going to wash and scrub all these potatoes. And then I'm going to cube them, and then put them into this water and put salt in it. Always salt your water before you boil. That way the potatoes get that. And they're just going to sit in the cold water till I'm ready to start them for mashed potatoes. That's one thing you can get done ahead of time. I bought some Texas size rolls. I've sprayed 2 pans with cooking spray. It says you can use, always use a dark colored pan instead of glass. And they'll brown evenly. These have to rise 3 to 5 hours. So put them in the pan and then place them with plastic wrap and let them rise. When you put the rolls in the pan, spray the one side of the plastic. So when they rise, when you go to take the plastic off, it doesn't stick to the rolls.